and welcome to another edition of SHOREVIEWDEN. If you're anything like me, you might have thought 1998's Parasite Eve was simply Square's answer to Biohazard. That may be true to an extent, but Parasite Eve is actually a video game adaptation and sequel to an award-winning novel of the same name, written by Hideaki Senna during the Japanese horror boom of the late 90s. The novel spawned a popular film, a manga series, and of course the 3 games we know today. So let's take a look back at the original for the PlayStation 1, Squaresoft's first M-rated title. Does it hold up? Does a mitochondria lay dormant inside its human host only to then cause them to spontaneously combust and attempt to take over the world? Yes. Directed by Takahashi Tokita, Parasite Eve delivers one hell of a ride with terrific character and atmosphere. Coupled with that, to this day, is a refreshing spin on the survival horror genre. Taking place over a 6-day period, our protagonist, New York City police officer Aya Bree, investigates the mystery behind humans spontaneously bursting into flames, and upon discovery of the culprit, begins tracking down the monster responsible, Eve. Eve aims to eliminate every last human on Earth, to produce and populate it with superior organisms who can control and manipulate their own DNA. Now, I don't want to spoil the game's story if you have never played Parasite Eve, because this is arguably the best story in a survival horror game to date, at least from a storytelling perspective, and you really should experience it for yourself. The way the story unfolds is akin to all those awesome late 90s police thrillers, my favorite kind of movies in a genre that's truly missed in my opinion. You even got that old great police chief trope whose ass is gonna be had by the mayor. To top it off, the New York setting is awesome, and it's made even better by being set during the holiday season. That's right, Parasite Eve takes place around Christmas Eve. Square is no stranger to experimenting with interesting battle systems, and look what these mad scientists have done. They combined Final Fantasy and Biohazard, and it's sick as hell. When encountering enemies, you're locked into a small area, and the game features real-time combat with an ATB, active time bar, dictating the time the player must wait to take another turn. Meanwhile, you have to run around and dodge enemies, often easier said than done. Offensively speaking, the range between you and your enemy will determine how effective you are, so you want to maintain that sweet spot. There's a variety of guns to equip, and you can unleash Parasite Energy, the game's form of magic, to either attack, buff, debuff, or heal yourself. You can't rely on it too much, however. While the Parasite Energy does recharge during battle, the more you use it, the slower it refills. You can upgrade both your weapons and armor, and what's really cool is all the perks you can alter with the tools, giving you things like a higher rate of fire or a nice fat stat boost. Like Resident Evil, you'll be searching for clues, solving puzzles, navigating your way through a lot of great, creepy environments, and running into all kinds of enemies. And I really dig the enemy variety here, and how each monster requires its own special approach. Parasite Eve absolutely kills it in terms of presentation as well. Jaggy graphics aside, I love the game's style. Now, I did record the footage on PS3, where you have an option to add some smoothing, and it does help what is an otherwise very jaggy game. But for a game that oozes this much style, who really cares about the visual fidelity? The pre-rendered backgrounds here are killer, and the cinematic camera angles are so cool and something you would never see a game attempt nowadays. The atmosphere never lets up during your investigation, which takes you all around New York, from Central Park to the National History Museum, a hospital, a brief stop downtown in Chinatown, and of course, is any game truly complete without a dank sewer? Another thing I adore about Parasite Eve is these scripted sequences, and again, just how stylish they are. Like these scenes in the squad car and the way the buildings just whip by on the reflection. The music as well is nothing short of brilliant, composed by Yoko Shimomura. From the eerie atmospheric tones to the more catchy adrenaline-pumping melodies. This is music you'll probably want to put on and listen to outside the game. Or if you're like me, you'll find yourself sitting idle, listening to that sick loop over and over. This survival horror game might not just be the one with the best story, but also the one with the best music. So what's not to love about Parasite Eve? This game has it all. All these top-notch elements coming together to make an absolute marvel in the horror genre. If you like horror even just a little bit, this is a must-play game. Parasite Eve has an awesome cast of characters and great dialogue, storytelling, cool monster designs, and a unique RPG twist to the combat. The killer atmosphere has you going all around on a cold, snowy Christmas Eve. It does not get much better than this. Parasite Eve goes way beyond just being Biohazard with an RPG twist. It takes so much style and influence from my favorite genre of movies, thrillers, and mixes that all with my favorite genre of video games, making this not only one of my favorite survival horror games, but one of my favorite games of all time. It's Parasite Eve, and it's excellent.